Today's video is my 2025 eyeshadow palette declutter series. This is a 3-part series and this video is part 1. Will I be keeping, decluttering, or depotting? As I mature and get to know myself a little bit better, I'm absolutely amazed at how much my tastes have changed. My goal was to attempt to declutter at least 50%. I am starting out with 307 palettes. I will reveal how much I was able to declutter at the end of part 3. So make sure that you watch all 3 videos to the end. I will be doing the declutter alphabetically by brand. This video will have from Anastasia Beverly Hills through Essence. Hey howdy, hey y'all, Leanna here. Grab a snack, get a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get into it. We're going to start off with Anastasia Beverly Hills. I have 7 of her palettes. We're going to start off with the Cosmos palette. I do like this palette and some of the shades in there do look a little cool. I am definitely going to keep that one. Next is my Fall Romance palette, and it has that felt type finish to the packaging which collects all kinds of dust and cat hair. I love this palette so much. I have used this quite often. I did not put a blue dot on it. I need to do that. But this is a phenomenal palette. The formula of this palette is amazing, and I am definitely keeping this one. Next is the Jackie Aina palette, and I believe that I have used this palette once. It as well is a very pretty palette. My daughter highly recommended that I buy this palette. I am definitely going to keep it. That's a very pretty color story, and I don't know that they sell this palette anymore. I had quite a few of these Norvina palettes, and I decluttered the other 2 or 3 that I had, and this is the only one that I have kept, and I kept it because look at all of those beautiful purples. I have not given this palette much love. I've given it some, but I cannot bring myself to get rid of this. I'm going to keep it and get some use out of it, which is what I said the last time I didn't declutter it. This is the Primrose palette, and I have used this one. This palette as well is fairly warm. I did like this palette when I used it, but I don't feel like I'm going to give this palette the love that it deserves. Again, it's a beautiful formula. There's nothing wrong with this palette. As I said, my tastes have just kind of changed, so surprisingly, I'm going to declutter this one. I didn't see that coming. This is the Rose Metals palette, and this palette is not going anywhere. I have used this palette quite often as well, and it is absolutely stunning, gorgeous, amazing formula. I love everything about this palette. I am definitely keeping that. And then there's the Soft Glam palette, which was the first ABH palette that I purchased for myself. This has that felt texture on the packaging as well. This palette as well is very warm leaning, but it was my first big girl palette that I bought for myself when I started my channel, or right before I started my channel. There's quite a few dips in some of the shades, and I am going to keep it and use it and see if I can't hit pan in some of those shades. I have 8 Ace Beaute eyeshadow palettes. Let's see how many of these make the cut. Starting off with the Aura palette. This is new. I have swatched it. I have never used it. That is a very pretty color story, and I do like it. I do want to use this palette before I decide whether or not I want to declutter it. I bought this with that as a set. This is the Envy palette. I love the packaging. It's so pretty. This as well is a very pretty color story. Those blues and greens are a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but I still want to use this palette. I have only swatched it and see how I like it. I just have to stick my finger. Look at that. Those are so pretty. So I'm going to keep that. The Floral Vintage palette. I have always loved this palette, but I just don't know that I'm actually going to use it. Am I going to use that? It's so pretty. I remember watching people declutter this palette and thinking to myself, I will never declutter that palette. But here I am unsure. I am going to put that in the maybe pile. This is the Grandiose palette, and this palette was gifted to me by one of my subscribers, and I have not used it. It was gifted to me by Spirited Dragonfly, so I am going to keep it and use it and see if I like it, and then decide whether or not I want to declutter that one. Paletteopoly. This was such a hot item when it first came out. It has the game and everything to go with it. So pretty. I probably have a lot of these shades in other palettes, but I do like this palette, and those shimmer shades are amazing. Let me swatch one of them to make sure that, yeah, still good to go. So I am going to keep this palette for now and use it and then decide. Paradise Fallen. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I am absolutely not getting rid of this palette. I love this palette. It is an amazing palette, and it has a lot of good memories for me. This palette was the first palette that I used in a collab video with Andy from Andy Does Stuff. So, and it's a beautiful color story. Definitely my color story. I would say in my mind that I'll never declutter that. We'll see what happens, but I'm definitely keeping that one. This is the Smoky Roses palette, and it is very pretty. Look at how pretty that is. I have not given this palette any love either. I have used it, but I've not given it the love that it needs to have, so I'm going to keep this one. Next we have the Violet Sage palette, and this as well is a very pretty color story. Very nice for spring, and another palette that has not been used. I think I've used it once, so I'm going to keep this one as well. Next is this Adapt Cosmetics. This is the Plain Jane palette, and I may have used one or two shades from out of this palette to do a look. This is not, for me, a standalone palette where you can do a complete look with this palette. So I am probably going to, this is the only Adapt palette that I have. I am probably going to take these shades out. As you can see, they're magnetic. As you can see, the shadows have numbers on the back. They don't necessarily have names. So I think I'm going to take these out and put them in my singles, because that's how I would use it anyway. And then I'll just keep the palette and put it with my empty magnetic palettes in case I want to assemble it again. But I'm definitely going to keep it. I'm just going to move it into my singles collection. I have 3 Alter Ego palettes. The Artemis palette, which is the dupe for the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette, I believe. This is a beautiful palette. I have hard panned some of the shadows in this palette. I don't know how I did that unless I was just being too rough. Those that have been hard panned are not performing very well. But it's still a beautiful palette. And I don't think I'm ready to part with this yet. Yeah, I can see if I can get the hard pan off of some of those shadows and see if they will work. And if not, at that time, then I will declutter it. Next is the Luster palette, and I can't remember which Pat McGrath Labs this is a dupe for, but it's so pretty. Look at that pink. My camera still does not want to function quite like it should. I love that it has that pink shifty goodness to it. And this orange, peachy orange. It does feel a little dry. Do I want to keep this? Am I going to use this? That does not feel dry. And that swatches really well. For now, I'm going to put this in the maybe pile. I don't know if I will declutter it or maybe depot it. We'll see. Next is the Sakura. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Sakura palette. This as well is a dupe for a Natasha Denona palette. I don't remember which one it is. And in this one as well, I have hard panned some of the shadows. It still performs well though, but realistically, look at how shiny that is. Am I going to use that? Or am I going to use, because I know I have the Natasha Denona palette that this is a dupe for. I'm going to put this in the maybe pile as well. Which surprises me. I was not intending to declutter any of those. Although the last time I decluttered eyeshadow palettes, these were the only 3 of the Alter Ego that made it. Next up are my Beauty Bay palettes, and I had to put my wrist support on because my carpal tunnel is starting to bother me. It's been bothering me all week, but this is the neutral palette from Beauty Bay, and I was influenced into purchasing this palette because Andy loves it so much, and it is an amazing palette. I really do like it. It has a nice mixture of warm and cool, so I am definitely going to keep that one. Next is the Fantasy, and I haven't had this very long, I don't think. I'm not even sure I've used it. I can tell that I've swatched it, but I'm pretty sure I have not used it. And it is gorgeous. Beautiful palette. Love the color story. Not sure about that green, which is called Slime, but I'm definitely going to keep that one. And then we have these 2 big giant palettes. I was influenced to buy these by my daughter. Oh gosh. I see shades in here that I would use, but I also see shades in here that I'm never going to use. The layout of the palette kind of hurts my brain a little bit. I'm not sure that I'm actually going to reach for this palette. I'm going to declutter this one. Another thing that's happening today is my allergies are really kicking my butt. I just had a big old sneezing fit, so if you hear my voice getting deeper and sounding like Leroy instead of Leanna, and I'm sniffling and wheezing, that's what's happening. So I bought this Midnight palette when I bought the Earthy palette because, again, my daughter loves these two palettes. And I do like the color story in this one way better than I do the Earthy palette. This has more shades in it that I feel like I will use, even though I know that I have lots of palettes that have these shades in it. I do want to attempt to use this palette and show it some love, and then I will decide whether or not I want to declutter it. So I'm keeping it. Okay, I have 18 BH Cosmetics palettes. These are the Birthstone collection palettes, and some of these were gifted to me because I was looking for specific birthstones to go with family members that have a lot of meaning to me. This Emerald palette is for the month of May, and I don't remember why why I wanted this. The paper has never been taken off of it. That glitter right there, there's no way that I would use that. And I can't remember who gave me which palette, but Ash from Makeup and Chaos gave me some, and Andy from Andy Does Stuff gave me some as well. Gosh, I don't remember why I wanted this Emerald palette. And I know, I mean, that shade right there is so pretty. Look at it sparkle. But I know, I mean, I haven't even pulled the plastic off of it. Or maybe I bought this myself at Marshall's. I don't know, but I'm going to declutter that one. That surprises me. This Pearl palette is for the month of June, and my daughter's birthday is in June. My cousin Sandy, who is no longer with us, her birthday as well is in June, and this is pretty. Again, it has that glittery shade in it that I know I'm not going to use, but I'm going to keep this one and attempt to use it. I think I've swatched it. I don't think I've ever used it. And then I will decide whether I want to keep or declutter. This is the Sapphire palette for September. Christopher's birthday is in September. I love all those shades. I'm going to keep this one as well. That glitter shade. Ooh, that chunky. It is just as chunky as it wants to be. Yep, nope. I would not. Look at how pretty it is, though, especially with the camera not focusing on it. Gosh, that's pretty. So I'm going to keep that and attempt to use it and see what happens. This is the Citrine palette, which is for November, which is my birthday. I have used this palette. I do not like the color story. Not at all. And, I mean, I did like the look that I created with it. But I know that I am not going to use this palette because I don't like the color story, so I'm going to declutter that one. Opal for October, which is my mother's birth month. She as well is not with us. And this color story does not remind me of my mother at all. I mean, I know some of these shades are opal, and opals have, you know, hints of different pastels and things in them, but I'm gonna declutter that one as well. The Diamond for April, my granddaughter's birthday is in April, and this palette as well has not had the paper taken off of it, and it is not a color story that interests me either, so I am going to declutter that one. The Paris palette, which was the little travel palette series that they did. This is a pretty color story. I don't know that I've used this. I can see where I have swatched it. I do not believe that I have used it. I do want to keep this and use it and see if I like it. The Avocado Toast, of course, when this palette came out, everybody just was so over the moon about this palette. And this palette as well, I may have used one time. I'm going to keep it and use it, but I feel like this one might end up getting decluttered. It's probably on the chopping block, as Andy says. The Blueberry Muffin palette, again, is another palette that everybody lost their minds over, and it's a very pretty palette. I have used this a couple of times. I'm going to keep this one as well and get some use out of it. Opalescent. I don't think that I have ever used this palette. I have not. I can tell that I have not. I don't even think I have swatched it, and it's so pretty. But realistically, I know I'm not going to use it. I am not going to use this palette. I'm going to declutter it. I didn't see that coming either. When I saw these two palettes, I had to have them. Simply because it was sun and moon, and I am very much into astrology and, you know, zodiac, woo-woo, witchy type things, so I was very attracted to these palettes. I have not used them, either one of them. Look at how pretty they are. I don't know what to do. Should I keep them? Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. They're so pretty. The pans are so tiny though, which, I mean, you might get through them a little bit quicker. I have swatched them. I can see where I have swatched them. I'm just unsure. Look at how pretty. What to do? I think I'm going to put the two of these in the maybe pile because I'm unsure. And if I'm unsure, then I probably should not keep them. But I'm going to put them in the maybe pile because I can't decide. Okay, I've changed my mind on the two Birthstone palettes that I was going to keep. I'm going to declutter those. I'm trying to be very realistic here. Next is the Stellar Collision palette. I have never used this, and this is the baked formula. I am definitely keeping this one. I have not used it, and I definitely want to give it a try. Galaxy Chic as well is the baked formula, and I have not used this palette either, so I'm going to keep this one. I see that this shade here has broken. I need to press that back down in there. I don't know when that happened. So yep, I'm keeping that one. As well as the Aura Lights. All of these baked formulas I'm definitely keeping. They're so pretty. And of course, you know, depending when I use them, because I don't know why that other shade is broke in that other palette. Maybe they have gotten too dry because I have not used them, so I don't know. But I will decide as I go. The Zodiac palette. This one as well. I have not used. And I wanted it because it was the Zodiac palette. And it does have the baked formulas in it, but realistically, I don't think I'm going to use this palette. I had no idea that I was going to even think about decluttering this palette, but I'm going to declutter this one. That's shocking. And of course the Naughty palette, which I have used quite often. It is an amazing palette with an amazing formula, and I have no intention of decluttering this one. Blendbunny. I have 3 Blendbunny palettes, and I'm 99.9% positive that I'm keeping all 3 of these. This is the Dollhouse. Blendbunny has an amazing formula. I love the color story of that palette. The Surge, again, beautiful color story. I need to get some use out of it. I know that I'm probably not going to use these pastel neon shades, but who knows? I might. They look way brighter in person than they do on my monitor, but I am keeping that one. And I love this Longing palette. I have used this quite a few times since I got it, and love the color story of that palette. So I'm keeping all 3 of these. Next up are my BPerfect palettes, and I know that I'm keeping this Gravity palette. It is so beautiful, Such a smoky, cool tone color story. I love it. I have used that quite a few times. The Carnival 3 Love Tahiti. Gosh, look at all of those colors. Ooh, I mean, seriously, am I going to use that? Am I going to use that? I had no intention of even considering decluttering this palette, but I just don't know. I'm going to put that in the maybe pile. What? Carnival, the Antidote. This is a beautiful palette. And again, I'm sure I have all of these shades in several palettes, and this thing is massive. I find myself not being attracted to these larger palettes anymore, but I'm going to keep this one for sure because I have used it and it is a very nice palette. You can get some amazing looks out of this palette, and I'm already regretting my life decisions. Oh my gosh. I've had this palette for what, 3-4 years? 4 years at least. 4 years, Leanna. Have you used it? I've used it once. I know I've used it once. I'm gonna declutter it. What? Who am I? Ccolor. I have 2 Ccolor palettes, 1 and 3. I may have had 2 the last time I did a declutter, and I decluttered that one. I don't know if this brand went out of business. This is a dupe for the Jeffree Star palette. Or is this one? It might be this one. Either way, these palettes were extremely reasonable, and the formula is amazing. I'm definitely going to keep both of those. I love the color story in both. Quickly, before we move ahead, so that I can move some of these off of my desk, let's revisit. If I have the Natasha Denona palette, and if I'm going to use this, I'm going to reach for that palette, so I'm going to declutter that. I have many Pat McGrath Labs palettes. I bought this because I wanted to see if it compared, but the formula feels a little dry, so I'm going to declutter that. The Ace Beaute. I'm pretty sure that these shades are in the Antidote palette, aren't they? Let's compare. I mean, it's fairly close. It's close enough that, I can't believe I'm going to declutter this. I'm going to declutter that. What? I'm going to declutter these as well. I don't even know who I am. I found the Amethyst palette from BH, which was for February, which is my grandmother's birth month. And she obviously is no longer with us. And I'm just not attracted to this color story, and I want to keep all of these for sentimental reasons, but why? So I'm going to declutter this one. Next is this little palette from Delance that is incredibly hard to open. Why? I have to get our special hard to open palette tool. These shades are very pretty, but they're more like a topper. And they won't come out of the palette. And I got this in an ice cream beauty box, I believe. And they're pretty. They're not super pigmented, but I think I'm going to declutter that, which I wasn't expecting, but here we are. And I don't know how I got to the D's when I'm in the C's, because next up is Charlotte Tilbury. I have all of my little palettes in these baskets, and so I have to go through here and find my Charlotte Tilbury palettes. One moment, please. Here are my 2 remaining Charlotte Tilbury palettes. I had the bigger palettes, and I decluttered those last time they're in my Mercari store. This is the Golden Goddess, which is very pretty, but I have not reached for it this entire time. I like Charlotte Tilbury. Some of Charlotte Tilbury's products are really nice. I'm not crazy about her eyeshadows. So, I mean, I have not reached for these. I don't see myself reaching for them. I remember when I bought this Golden Goddess, I really wanted this palette. But I'm going to declutter both of those. Moving on to my ColourPop palettes. This is the Sandstone palette, which is very pretty. And from what I remember, it is a nice formula, even though I never reach for it. I never reach for it. Am I going to reach for it? Being realistic, I don't know. I don't know. It's so pretty. I hate to get rid of it. But, I mean, I don't want to keep things just because I hate to get rid of it. I want to keep them because I'm excited to use them. And I don't feel any excitement when I look at this, so I'm going to declutter that. I had to have this Harry Potter palette when it came out. A friend of mine, because I was at work, she went to their website on launch day. My gosh, I can't get it out of the carton. She went to their site on launch day and sat there with her finger on the purchase button to get me this palette. That's how bad I wanted it, because I love Harry Potter. I have not touched this palette. I have not touched it. It's a very pretty color story. And again, I want to keep it just because it's Harry Potter, but obviously I've never used it. I'm going to declutter it. Wow, didn't see that coming either. Obviously, we will not be decluttering the Stone Cold Fox because Andy would disown me if I did that. I'm sure she probably wouldn't care, but I do love this palette. I love the color story. It's beautiful, and it still performs very well. You can see how dirty it is from use, so I'm definitely keeping this one. Smoke and Roses is another beautiful palette, and I have not used this one. I am going to keep it to see whether or not I like it. It's a mood. I don't believe that I have used this palette either, and it's very pretty, but like I'm not using those chunky glitters, and I can see where the oil from the glitter, see how it has discolored the area around those, so it's pulling the oils out of those. All of the other shadows look fine though, but this is another palette that I absolutely had to have, and here we are. I am going to, what am I going to do? I know I'm not going to use those glitters. I mean, some of those other shades I might use, but I'm pretty sure I have those in other palettes too. I'm going to declutter it. And quit hemming and hawing over it. I'm keeping the Aura Struck. This is a beautiful palette, and I have used this quite often. I want to get some more use out of that, so I'm keeping it. Okay, while I was digging around in my little baskets, I have these in little baskets instead of on my shelf, which I'll show you my shelf when I'm done. I should have shown you the shelf before I started so that you could see the difference, but while I was digging around, I found this little Chantico Beauty. It's a little 2 shade palette. Hello, and it's very pretty, but you know, I'd love if these would come out, because I would put them in a little single, you know, as little singles. I mean, they're very pretty. Look at how pretty that is. I might try to see if I can get those out. Look at that. I mean, that's really pretty. Oh my goodness, that's a little patchy, but that is gorgeous. I don't know that I can get them out of this little palette. They're not magnetic and they're glued in there pretty good. I don't know. I'm gonna attempt to depot that because I'm just not gonna reach for that. It's tiny. So that will go in the possible depot pile. This palette I decluttered, and here it is. I thought that I was going to depot it, and I still might because there are a couple of shades in here that I really like. But then there are some like these. What did Andy call these with the glitter in them? I don't remember. I can't remember what they're called. But I just don't care for those. But the rest of these I do like, and I have used them a couple of times since I decluttered it. I'm going to put this back in the depot pile. I don't know how it got back. It needs to stay where the heck I put it. Ignore the mouse. You didn't see that. Okay, so to continue on with my ColourPop palettes, this is the Blowing Smoke, and I love this palette. I am definitely keeping that. I had looked at this Cloud 9 palette and wanted it, but then I was like, I don't need that. But then I was in Ulta and I swatched it and I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna get that. And yeah, I didn't need that. I didn't need that. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this. I might depot it. I'm gonna put that in the maybe pile. I'm running out of places to pile stuff up. Going Coconuts was one of my first ColourPop palettes, and I do like this palette. I think I'm going to keep that for now for sentimental reasons, and when I use it I may decide to declutter it. The Heavy Petal palette is new to my collection. This palette was given to me by Tina from Tina H. Beautiful Journey. I believe she gave this to me in November for my birthday. Such a pretty palette. I have not used it, so obviously I'm going to keep that and use it. The High Tide palette is a very pretty palette too. I am not ready to let this one go. I'm going to use it and decide at that time whether I'm going to keep it or declutter. The Lush Life palette, I really wanted this palette and now I have it, and when I look at it, I'm like, I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use that. I don't know why, but it just does not appeal to me now, so I'm going to declutter that. Sage the Day is another very pretty palette. I have used this a couple of times. I'm going to keep that one. So Fly, which has the dragonfly on it, you know this is a gorgeous palette. I do love it, and you know I'm keeping that because me and my dragonflies. The Mandalorian, The Child, is another really pretty palette. I do like this color story. I am going to keep that one. This is one of my favorite ColourPop palettes. I love this palette so much. I am definitely keeping this one. I need to move this to where I can get more use out of it because it is a gorgeous palette. And when this palette came out, this is the collab that Raw Beauty Christie did with ColourPop. When this palette came out, I had to have it. And I have used it a couple of times, and it seems powdery to me now. So I think I'm going to declutter that one as well. I didn't see that coming either. Next up are my 3 Cosmic brushes. I believe that they are now Cosmic Beauty. First I have the Gothic palette, which is just absolutely gorgeous. I love this palette. I am definitely keeping that. The Muse palette. I don't believe that I have used this palette yet. I have swatched it but not used it. So I'm going to keep this and use it and then decide whether or not I like it. They really do have a good formula. And this beautiful Winter Wonderland palette, which I have used I think I've used it once. Beautiful color story. I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit intimidating, but I am going to keep this and use it as well. Next, I have 3 Danessa Myricks palettes. I'm only going to be showing you 2 of them. One of them is new, and I will be showing that when I do a little haul video. This is Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 3, the Experience palette. Very pretty. I may have used this once. This would be perfect to use with a all matte palette. I'm not sure if those shades come out, if that's magnetic. It is not magnetic, which is a shame, because I would rather use these as singles, but it is very pretty, and I'm definitely going to be keeping that. This is the Lightwork Volume 6. It's the Freedom palette. I'm sure that y'all have seen this palette. It is such an amazing system. I'm definitely keeping this one too. This is new in my collection, and all of these little palettes come out, and then all of the shades in these also come out. You can rearrange them however you'd like. I have not used this palette yet. It is definitely on my to-do list. I'm very excited about this beautiful palette. I have 3 Dominique Cosmetics palettes. Actually, that is not true. I have 4. I had decided to declutter this little unconditional palette the last time I did a declutter, but I really wanted to use it. It's got a cat hair on it. But I did not like that shade. I knew I was not going to use that shade. It was like a thick glitter. But Andy inspired me to take that out, and I'm going to press a brown in so that I can use this. So I will be putting this back into my inventory. It is not currently on my spreadsheet. These 3 palettes, I'm pretty sure I'm keeping all 3 of these. I love this transition palette. All matte, beautiful color story. This is great to use with your shimmer shades or any toppers that you might have, and Dominique Cosmetics has an amazing formula, so I'm keeping that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep this latte too. It has a nice color story too. I don't believe that I have used this yet. I had another of her palettes that I depotted, so I'm going to use this one. I may end up depotting it, I'm not sure. I love this palette, the Berries and Cream. I am definitely keeping this one. I have used this palette quite a bit. I love this shade and that sweet cream shade and this brown. Those are my 3 favorite out of the palette, but all of the shades in this palette are really nice, so I'm definitely keeping that. Next up are my Ensley Reign palettes. I have the Hedgehog. This is new and new to my collection. I have used this one time. It's a nice little palette. Love the formula, so I'm going to be keeping that. The Wolf Moon palette is also new to my collection. Look at how beautiful that is. I have not used this palette yet, but it's on my list. And of course the Cold Moon palette, which I absolutely love. This palette is not going anywhere. Beautiful color story. The formulas are amazing. Those shifty shadows. Yeah, definitely keeping that. This was my first Ensley Reign palette, and I got this because I'm Scorpio. But I think that this is an older formula because it did not perform as well as the new formulas do. So I do like this part of the palette. This is a little bit outside of my comfort zone. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether I want to keep this or declutter it or depot it. And I see that the names, the shade names, are starting to come off. I'm going to put this in the maybe pile and then decide. Okay, I got a little out of order. Going back to the D's. This is Dede Signature Plum Perfection. Very nice little palette. I had this in Pan, that fun size palette. I really enjoy this palette. Not a good palette to attempt to pan, but I definitely want to keep that. And I have this Dior. This is the Dior Backstage. Amber Neutrals is what this is called. And I have used this once, I believe. I feel like I decluttered this palette once as well. Because now that I look at the color story, I'm just like, I just don't know. I don't know. I'm going to keep it and try one more time to use it and see if I actually like it. Okay, moving on to the E's. I have these E.L.F. bite-sized palettes and also this E.L.F. Prism palette, which is a nice topper, but I just never reach for it, and I wanted to keep it. It would be nice if I could get those to come out, because then I could put this in my singles and use it with some of my matte palettes, but I never reach for this. Yeah, I'm going to declutter this one. And then all of the little E.L.F. bite size, because you know I had to get every single one of them. And these are really nice little palettes. I did declutter one of these. I don't remember which one it was, but they really are nice little palettes. I'm sure that there are a couple in here that I probably would not gravitate towards or use, like this one. I don't know that I would use that. Which one is this? Orange Dreamsicle. I just don't know that I would use that one. And that's another one of those mattes with the glitters in it. I'm going to declutter that one. This is the jalapeno, hot jalapeno. I just don't know that I would use that either as a standalone palette. Not for me. I'm going to declutter that one as well. I was going to keep all of these and go through them. This is the Mint Melt Chocolate Mint. I have used this. I'm going to declutter that. I'm surprised, y'all. This is Truffles. I believe I have used this one as well. I'm going to declutter that. Alrighty. This is Berry Bad. See, when I look at these, I feel like I just have these shades in other more cohesive palettes. Like, I mean, you could do a whole look out of this. But, yeah, I don't know. I just really don't want to keep palettes that I know I'm not going to use. Why can I not get you open? And this is a nice matte palette. Some of these would be good for transition or setting your eye primer, but I'm not going to reach for these just for that. I do like this palette, although this has that glitter sparkle in it. This is Rose Water, and it is a nice little standalone palette. I do like that one. This is a pretty little palette too. I see you. You know, for as long as I've had these, I have not really used them. I did not think that I was going to do this, but I am going to declutter all of my little bite-sized palettes. Who knew? Moving on to Essence. This is a nice little palette, this little Taupe It Up palette. Very cool tone. I'm going to keep that one. And this is the Essence Never Give Up Your Daydream, which is pretty much a topper palette. These are very soft and they're very pigmented, as you can see. And I do really like them, but I just don't reach for it because it's just, you know, a topper palette. I think I am going to keep this palette and depot these into singles. Before we leave the E's, I have decided that I am going to declutter this palette. You can't buy this palette anymore. but I'm not going to use it, so I'm going to declutter. In the comments down below, let me know, did you disagree with some of my choices? Were you surprised? And also, if you saw any palettes that you would like for me to do a video on, a review or an eye look, put that in the comments as well. I hope you enjoyed part 1 of this 3-part series. As soon as part 2 goes up, I will have it linked down below. Until then, enjoy this other video that I chose for you, and I'll see y'all in part 2. Okay, love you, bye.